What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast. Now, I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about if the next game from Supermassive Games, Little Hope, will be better than Man of Medan, and what really to expect from this game in general. I kind of want to give my impressions of the teaser trailer. I'm recording this before, by the way, I'm playing Man of Medan. Now, I have Man of Medan. We're giving away the game actually for free on the channel, so if you guys are into that, if you guys know somebody that wants Man of Medan, definitely send them our way. We're doing a free giveaway. But, before this game even came out to the public eye, we had a teaser for the next game come out from Supermassive Games again, and this looks to be, in my opinion, like watching this trailer, I'm really, really impressed from what I've seen. Now, it again keeps pretty much everything the same. I think ultimately, from what I was reading of people's reviews or critics' reviews of Man of Medan before the game actually came out, it was that it's a solid game packaged with a lot of problems, okay? A lot of, like, technical, graphical, just how the game actually works problems. And to be honest, that's actually the worst case scenario, because if you read or if you heard what Supermassive Games was saying before the game came out, they were saying that they're pretty much going to keep this pretty much similar for the next 7 games. It's an 8-game anthology. It's going to be over the next 4 years, which I made a video and I talked about that, and I really like that idea. I think that's a fantastic idea. I think it's like, well, giving us 8 different locations, 8 different sets of characters, 8 different horror premises instead of making one game. I mean, that's pretty, I'll take that. And at the same time, maybe that was actually not a good idea, especially, again, if the engine, if how the game actually operates is already falling apart with literally game number 1, how can we expect it to come together for the next game? So I think, honestly, the biggest worry for even this Little Hope game, even though we actually know next to nothing about it, the biggest worry, in my opinion, based off even with just what I've read and seen from people saying, is I'm more worried about how the game actually operates. I think overall, Man of Medan got very, very good review scores in terms of the actual premise and what it was trying to do. I think the same thing for Little Hope, and Little Hope seems to me a little bit creepier, especially now that we're seeing some of the stuff being talked about of Man of Medan, and that it's not the most scary game in the world. It's not built really around the horror as much as, say, parts of Until Dawn were, or as much as Little Hope seems to be. Now, Little Hope seems to be some sort of a cult in a little town. Obviously, Little Hope seems pretty darn scary. You see the girl going around the fire pit, and the game looks pretty creepy. I think it's going to be a really, really cool premise. And again, what I really, really do like about this Dark Pictures anthology is just the premise of being able to get all these different locations. I mean, it's pretty rare that within 6 months, now they said they hope every 6 months. That would put it, I believe, in late February. So, I'm hoping February, March, April, somewhere in that time period, we can get the next game. A bigger thing also, I know I'm supposed to kind of be analyzing or talking about the game itself, but this is doing it. What is going to be interesting is if we see like delays and pushbacks happen, where it's not really an episodic game, but it is kind of like, well, a new episode of the anthology comes out, every so often. It's like, well, if it continues to get pushed, do we see in a few years it happen where the game is like once a year instead of twice a year? Especially with next generation consoles, how exactly does that work too? It'll be really interesting. I've talked about in the past too, like, do they do collections where after 2 games come out, maybe they bundle them together in a 2-game series? Possible, and it'll be really interesting to see if that ends up happening. But for again, like, just having the premise of being able to jump into a completely new town or a new place. Already, if you look at Until Dawn, Man of Medan, and now Little Hope, we've gotten 3 very, very distinct and very different kind of settings with just completely different things going on here. And to be honest, like, the way they're doing it with this definitely seems to be the most kind of creepy factor. Definitely, to me, seems to have the most potential with actual scares and storytelling. I think the tropes and the characters and things like that and what they do, that'll always kind of stay the same. They do like to rip off those 80s, 90s horrors, and they do it very, very well. And that's really, I think, a main part of what makes these supermassive horror games very, very good. So I'm fine with them keeping that the same. And it does kind of seem like they're going to keep that the same game as well, but expanding for this in particular to make this more about the actual horror, to make it more about the scares. I feel like they have the most potential here because, I mean, am I expecting like an Outlast 2 kind of situation? No, game is not going to be like Outlast. It's not going to be that insanely terrifying and that much like in your face throughout the entire game. It's not. However, I do think if you look at any of these three games, I know Until Dawn had Wendigos and stuff like that, but I feel like storytelling is insanely important, but I feel like the fear and the horror aspect of this next game, I feel like out of all the games they've done so far, and especially looking at Man of Medan, I feel like the next one is going to be a really important step to see if they can actually nail it, to see if they can actually do I mean, is it going to be a pure horror game? Not necessarily, but if they've ever had a chance to do one, this would be the biggest chance. Overall, I mean, there's not a lot to the trailer, pretty darn short, very dark. I feel like they need to turn their lighting up a little bit, and that is a joke, but it is actually kind of difficult to see a lot of things that are happening in the trailer. But overall, I haven't played, when I'm recording this, and again, important to remember, I haven't played Man of Medan. I wonder, and I have talked about this, fatigue with this kind of game is totally a thing. People have talked about it. Not only will the engine hold up, not only will the engine hold up? Will everything continue to work? Will people not get tired? And that is part of the fatigue. Will people get tired with the same kind of things? They've even said they're going to keep the same mechanics. So quick time events, standing still, having the PlayStation, the Move controller or the actual controller with a light, those kind of things, those mechanics are still going to be in the game. Okay, and it's going to just be the same every time. They even said that. So will people get fatigued with basically the exact same style of game? Will it happen for the first two games? No. By game 6, 7, 8, will we be tired of it? Possibly, and it'll be interesting to see if they can if they can change a lot about those last couple games without drastically having to internally explode their studio. That'll be pretty interesting to see. For the first couple of games, I do expect kind of the same situation in terms of how we're playing the game, but obviously I do expect, a completely brand new experience. And it'll be interesting to see how many things they recycle, okay? How many things they recycle from Until Dawn to Man of Medan, and then Man of Medan to Little Hope, and not just that, but also Until Dawn to Little Hope. That'll be one of the bigger things I look at going forward. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I would say I'm more than cautious. I'm not exactly cautiously. I am very much looking forward to the next game, but that's without playing Man of Medan. That's without experiencing any of these, if there's bugs or things that just don't work with the system in Man of Medan. That's without me doing that, and it's without me experiencing it and then 6 months later being like, okay, jumping back in again. So it is without that. It is kind of taking things a step back approach without me experiencing that, so things can definitely change. But guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Little Hope? Have you played Man of Medan? What do you think about that? At the time this video goes up, I will have already beaten Man of Medan, so that is important to note as well. So we can definitely have a discussion in the comments below. So let me know what you guys think about all that. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Again, we are giving away this game for free, Man of Medan, I should say, on the channel. We probably will give away Little Hope too, but we're giving away Man of Medan for free on the channel. If you guys know anybody that wants this game, make sure you steer them to our channel. We're giving it away completely for free. Thank you guys, as always, for watching, and we will see you on the next video.